Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I release a legacy video every Friday. If you want to support the channel, you can do so by joining the Patreon. Here, you can gain access to perks such as a continuously updated sideboard guide for Legacy Doomsday, as well as being able to send private messages. You can do so by clicking the link in the video description or going to patreon.com/NevilleShootMTG. Thanks so much. I hope you enjoy the video. Hello everyone, Martin here, back with another legacy video, and I am making a food chain legacy video today. Food chain combo, for those that aren't familiar with this, is a combo that revolves around the enchantment from Mercadian Masks called Food Chain. A green and 2, and then it has the activated ability, which is also a mana ability, which is important, to exile a creature and then add mana equal to the creature's converted mana cost +1 of any color. But then with the caveat that mana can only be used to cast creatures. So Food Chain combined with either Eternal Scourge, which may be cast from exile, or Misthollow Griffin, lets you generate infinite mana. But that mana can only be used to cast creatures, so we need some big payoff, and that big payoff is Emrakul. And I'm playing an updated version of a very, very old version of Food Chain. Updated in the sense that we have some new cards, but we are playing Fierce Empath and Aethersnipe and Griselbrand. Maybe Griselbrand should even be a Traxa, come to think of it. But I'm going to stick with Griselbrand just because that was what I played back in the day. And yeah, the really sweet combo is, there's a sort of chain that ends with Griselbrand without having access to infinite mana. It does require a food chain, but what it does then is I hope to be able to show this in the video, but who knows. But you have food chain out, and then you resolve a Fierce Empath. So that's 3 mana. And then the Fierce Empath gets Aethersnipe. Then you evoke the Aethersnipe. So this is a 6 mana play, but I mean, if you can do it over 2 turns, or if you have like a couple of Noble Hierarchs they tap and then sack for 2, so each Hierarch represents 3 mana with a food chain. So basically, the Aethersnipe is then evoked. Once it ETBs, it triggers and it targets the Fierce Empath. And then with the evoke sack trigger on the stack, we sacrifice Aethersnipe for 7 green mana to the food chain. And now the Fierce Empath is in our hand. We use 3 of the 7 green mana, cast Fierce Empath, get Griselbrand, sack the Empath for 4 black mana. Now we have 4 black, 4 green, and we have Griselbrand. Hey presto. And yeah, actually, now that I'm saying it out loud, this can't be Atraxa because Atraxa requiring rainbow mana means that line doesn't work. But other than that, we're a Bant deck. We get to play Bant cards. We play Force of Will, which is optimized in this deck because if you ever pitch a Misthollow Griffin, it's kind of like Force of Will becomes a 1-for-1. And we're playing a couple of Uro. I got a main deck Endurance. Got the Plows. We got this really sweet card called Manipulate Fate, which is, yeah, it only works in this deck, and it's a 2-mana sorcery. You get to exile 3 creatures that can be played from exile, meaning that they're almost kind of just put in your hand. I know that's not true, but you know, in a way, it is kind of, those cards are available to you, and then you draw a card. So it almost reads like draw 4, or like tutor 3 cards and then draw a card for 2 blue mana, or blue mana and 1. Yeah, it's pretty sweet. In the sideboard, I have mostly tried to set up to play against combo, and I've also been playing against quite a bit of like Mystic Forge, the One Ring stuff. So I decided to have an extra Force of Vigor. And yeah, some of the new additions are also the Null Drifters. Just like with the food chain in play, evoking a Null Drifter, like that's like a Cabal Ritual and a Dark Ritual and a draw 2. So basically, you know, it costs 3 and it gives us 8 mana. So, and you don't have to sack this for mana until you draw the cards, because the cards are on cast. So you can see if you get, like, if you need green mana for Empath or blue mana for something else. Yeah. All right. I am going to go ahead and jump to League. Alrighty, we're on the play for round number 1. And let's keep this. A nice little Banty hand. A little bit much of the exile effect here with 2 Manipulate Fates and a Misthollow Griffin, but I think all in all that's okay. Planar Nexus. Okay, so it's like the One Ring deck. Oh, I drew another one. That's not good. All right, let's cast a Ponder, I think. And I think we just take another land here, and then we cast Manipulate Fate to shuffle. I'm gonna exile the last Griffin and the Eternal Scourge, and then the last Manipulate Fate. Yeah, 2 mana cycle, do nothing else is not good enough to draw later on. And Brainstorm is a pretty nice pickup. Alright, pass. So we're up against a deck that plays Karn the Great Creator, that plays the One Ring, probably plays Mystic Forge, probably plays, or certainly plays Kozilek's Command. Now they have 4 mana. No, they don't, right? Yeah, no, they do. They do. This taps for 3 because this is everything. Yeah. 4 mana, here we go. Oh, okay. They just kill my Hierarch. Interesting. Alright, let's Brainstorm. And, ooh, look at that. Let's put away the 2 Misthollow Griffins. And let's cast this, I think. I think this is the way. Put those 2 away. And then I think I get rid of probably a land here. Probably the Hedge Maze. I want to draw that. Okay. So we don't have the infinite kill here, but we do have in like the vigilant squad of Griffins next turn, if nothing insane happens. Trinisphere. Okay, that changes things. It doesn't change the things like to an insane amount, but it does change things. They have again 4 mana here if they want to sack their dudes. Looks like they do. Wondering. Okay. Aethersnipe. Okay, so I think I play the Eternal Scourge here, and then I play Meticulous Archive and put this Tundra away. The good thing about this Trinisphere is it makes like them getting keys into play awkward. They can tutor up a key with this Saga next turn, but yeah. I guess they have a lot of mana though. So 3, 5, 6, 7 mana right now. They can cast 2 spells. Okay. They send my friend into exile again, postponing what I want to do by a turn. And of course, all of this is just getting worse and worse by the fact that they are drawing more and more cards. I still think I could evoke the Aethersnipe for 3 mana and bounce the Trinisphere and then play my 2 of my 3 noble hierarchs. But I think I would, I don't know, would I? Because if I do that, then they would have to kill both to stop me from resolving food chain and having creatures next turn. Sort of all in one go. That also gives them a lot, like, more freedom to do stuff. I think I'm just gonna replay the friend here. And they make a guy. And I'm just gonna F6 here. I can't interact under the 3 ball. Make another friend. And they get Candelabra. Okay. They have 10 cards in hand. Infinite mana. Life is good over there. And there is a key. If they resolve Paradox Engine, then they've won. There is Karn. What does Karn reveal? Karn reveals liquid metal coating. Okay. That doesn't seem like it's gonna do all that much. Oh, hang on. What just happened? Oh, I thought it was only lands. Yeah, okay, now that makes sense. Okay, so now I need a land. And even then, like, okay, yeah, if I get a land, I don't. And then I'm just going to concede, because that's how Magic works. Alright, Deafening Silence is pretty good versus that deck. Force of Negation, the Force of Vigors. Lavinia, maybe, because they cheat on, like, they want to play a 2-drop, oh, sorry, a 4-drop off of 2 lands. But then eventually they just, the deck plays a lot of lands, and I don't think they play a lot of zeros. I am gonna board out at least some number of plows, but they are very likely to be playing the Glaring Fleshraker. We can board out Endurance, and maybe we board out 1 Manipulate Fate and shave a Griffin. And then we board out 2 plows. I think I kind of like that. So that leaves us with 19, 20 blue cards. That's fine. The Uros, I don't really know how good I think they are, but yeah, let's see. Do I keep this? I guess I keep this and hope that Brainstorm really pulls through. I don't. Well, they're down to 5. Okay. I really don't want to have to Force of Will here for obvious reasons, but we do have that option. Okay, opponent found 5 they like. Let's just start off with a Hedge Maze. I'll take a Ponder. That makes casting Brainstorm or forcing pitching Brainstorm a little bit less of a problem. Where's his mind go? Okay, so they probably have a Nexus for next turn, although I'm not sure. All right, let's cast Brainstorm. I do want to like swap some of these lands. Okay, that was both good and bad. Let's get rid of the Archive and the basic planes, and then I am gonna give up casting Force of Will here because I do want to shuffle. I'm casting the Ponder, draw Noble Hierarch. Okay. Having no blue card for this force and having all these lands feels pretty terrible, but what can you do? Trinisphere, okay. Force of Vigor. Why don't we just cast this Eternal Scourge? You can always cast the Food Chain later, and right now, like, there's nothing to pay off with it. There's a ring, okay. Well, draw one of my several payoff cards here, and we get to just untap and win here. Of course not. We draw one of the cards we just shuffled away. Lovely. What's the plan here? I think I Meticulous Archive and try looking for a win, which I don't find, of course. Let's play Noble Hierarch. This insulates us a little bit from them, like, targeting the Scourge with something, and lets us still, like, win, like, combo with Food Chain. I could have, like, gone for another route there where I Force of Vigor their Saga and the Trinisphere, but then I'm tapped out and I'm passing. 4 mana, looks like a Colligan's Command. Scry X and create 4 dudes. And draw a card, of course. 2 top, 2 bottom. Okay, so they kill. Oh, this. Yeah, I hadn't been reading up on this card. They get to kill both my things. Yikes. Okay, there was the win, actually. What am I supposed to do here? What's more likely that they can exile this or the friend? Exile target non-land permanent, then return it. So that's just a flash thing. I think I'm going to try this, and then, maybe they play something that they can exile this with, but if not, then we get to win. And they've shown us demonstrably that they can kill creatures, or at least, like, put this into exile. I'm also just going to yield here because of the 3-ball. This gets to search up something, the Urza Saga, I mean. So the ring has drawn 6 cards for them. It might draw 4 more if they get a key with this, which they do. So I'm not expecting to pull out of this, but you never know. Disruptor Flute, okay. So if this name's Eternal Scourge, then another land lets me cast the Scourge. Oh, no, never mind. I don't need another land. The Fierce Empath does it. Okay, well, we'll see. See if I get away with things here. They have, how much does this tap for? So it taps for 1, 2, 3, 4. And then this taps for 2. So they have 6 mana. They can cast 2 spells. Alright, I drew another land anyways, but alright, I mean, let's see if I am allowed to do things here. I could also just play the Scourge. Oh, hang on, no, this is every time. Never mind. So it's not going to work the way I want it to work, but I can get to Griselbrand, right? The way we talked about. I could also cast the Force of Vigor, but no, I don't have the mana for it. Then they also just replay the flute. Okay. Let's try this. The Empath resolves. I'm not confident at all that this wins the game for me, but we'll see. I will use it, and I'm going to get Aethersnipe. So now Aethersnipe gets evoked, and we target the Fierce Empath, and then we sack Aethersnipe for 7 green. It bounces Fierce Empath. We replay Fierce Empath, and this tutors up Griselbrand, and then we sack the Empath for quad black. And then we can basically draw 14 and exile Griselbrand to continue the chain, but we would need to hit the second Empath or Emrakul, and then one of the Griffins. Yeah, let's draw 7. There's Empath and Emrakul. Oh, hang on, but that's not good enough, right? I need more creatures. So this gives 9, let's say 9 green, and we're down to 6 green, then we're up to 10 green. And then this gets a Null Drifter. We have 10 mana. We get blue, so we spend 3, so we have 7 mana. Yeah, I think that should do it, right? Let me just walk myself through this. Okay, so we exile the Griselbrand for green, have 8 green. Spend 3, have 5 green, cast Empath. Empath gets Null Drifter, then Empath sacks itself for 4 blue, so we have 5 green, 4 blue. We spend 3 blues, so we have 6 mana total left. And then Empath gets, the Null Drifter comes into play. We have 6 mana. The Null Drifter is then sacked for 8. So no, we were 1 mana short this way. So I do need to draw more. If we can find some way to make 1 more mana. Of course we couldn't. Well, we might still. Like, I'm gonna, like, the Empath here getting the Null Drifter. The Null Drifter might hit another Null Drifter or one of the Griffins. So let's try this. Make green. Oh no, I miscounted, didn't I? Did I count 8 from the Griselbrand? Math is hard. Let's get a Null Drifter. Let's sack this for blue. Let's evoke the Null Drifter. That drew a Hierarch, so it's not good enough. And then let's get rid of this. So now we have 15 mana. So we can... Alright, so basically we get to cast Emrakul and then Time Walk. And then we get to do stuff, but we don't get to kill them actually. But I mean, this is still more than I could have hoped for, I think. Okay, so the Null Drifter is gone. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. They have 9 permanents, so they're going to have 3 left. Move to discard. Alright, I'm going to get rid of the food chains and the extra lands. I guess one of the forces. And I need the Manipulate Fate here. I'll get rid of the Brainstorm. Not sure. Maybe the Deafening Silence doesn't matter anymore. But I still think that's no, okay. Oh, hang on. There were cards out here. Oh, I forgot. I forgot to look. Okay, land, and we get another turn. We go to combat and attack. And they have to get rid of they have to sacrifice the ring, or they just untap and they die. They float mana, so what's this for? Kozilek's command. I think I just kill this, or I mean force this. I don't want to give them the dudes to sacrifice. Okay. So they go to 2. Can they drain me for 2 somehow? I actually don't think maybe I play the land here and play the Noble Hierarch, but I don't think I do anything else here. And then we just hope they can't like beat this. Mucho mana. Grim Monolith, okay. The One Ring. Yep, that's okay. Like the Annihilator trigger from Emrakul is still gonna annihilate. And we do have the Force of Vigors and sort of standing by. All right, sweet. They concede. So we took a game. Now we have to beat them on the draw here. I think that was a pretty questionable keep. All right, let's submit. That was a pretty sweet Fierce Empath line that I ended up almost missing. All right, we keep hands like this. They mulligan to 6. Yeah, my plan is going to be Noble Hierarch turn 1, Doom, Food Chain turn 2, and then see where we go from there. And we have the Force Saga, okay, and a key. Yeah, the Saga pretty much is a key, like in a couple of turns. So I don't think I can really afford to spew a force on that. Or is this Power Plant? They have 2 mana right now. Grim Monolith. Sometimes it's correct to force this, but I am going to not do that. Now they have 4 mana. I am going to probably force the payoff here. Oh, it's another key. Okay. Yeah, they're going to kill my Noble Hierarch. That's so annoying. I think I force this and then live with my choices if their last card is like a Karn or something, or a the One Ring. I think I just play the Food Chain here. We unfortunately can't get the Griffin into play right now, but they get more keys. So they are getting to make the big play here, whatever it is. What is this? Argentum Masticore. When you discard, destroy target non-land permanent and opponent controls with mana value less than. Okay, so next turn they get to kill my Food Chain if they discard something that costs 3 or more. Okay, let's draw something good. It's not so good, but let's cast Brainstorm. Null Drifter is kind of interesting. Let's see here. What can I do? If I have 3 mana and then 2 more from the Hierarch. So I can Ponder, and then I still have just Griffin plus infinite mana. So if Ponder shows me a win, then that's pretty cool. And if not, then Null Drifter still, I can shuffle and then still draw with the Null Drifter. Aethersnipe, huh? Do we care about that? I don't think so. I mean, it's almost good. We can just hardcast the Aethersnipe and then bounce this. It says multicolored. But then they get to do over. I would really like to win right now. I am gonna shuffle this. Another Griffin. Okay. All right, where was I? Yeah. Let's get Griffin going here. Or actually, no, that's dumb. I'm gonna Null Drifter first because if I. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I was gonna say like if Null Drifter draws me a Ponder, but I think actually having Null Drifter just in play is probably worth it here. Okay, and now I'm also a little bit under the gun with regards to the clock here, so I'm gonna click a lot and edit the dead air out. All right, so now we have 15 mana. We play the 2 Griffins. Hang on. I'm gonna start with the second Null or with the Null Drifter. If I draw Force of Will, then maybe it's worth hanging on to this other Griffin. Let's draw 2. Noble Hierarch. I think I just play the second Griffin and probably the Noble Hierarch just to get material on the board. And so now, if they kill the food chain next turn, hopefully they're not doing a whole lot else, and then like they have to contend with these creatures here, and this will cost them the card. Kill the discard Trinisphere that kills the food chain. Yeah, okay. So now they're drawing a card. It may be good, it may not be good. And if it's like the One Ring, then we're probably in trouble. If they draw land, then it's pretty good for us. And it is a land. For lands, you know, concerned, that was a pretty good land. Okay, so they attack for 5. I go to 11, then I attack for 10. I think that's a fair deal. And let's just serve here. The Annihilator one is not that relevant, I think, with the board state being what it is, but it's not nothing. Okay, they lose the Argenta Masticore. They take 10. And let's cast a Manipulate Fate and get the last Griffin and the Eternal Scourge. Oh, no, never mind. I boarded out a Griffin. Okay, we get rid of the Manipulate Fate and the Hedge Maze. We draw Force of Vigor. Can't cast that yet. Okay, I'm gonna just replay or play the Scourge, and then they're kind of like Karn for Ensnaring Bridge, or the One Ring to buy them a turn is the best they can hope for, I think. Sweet, we got there. Off to winning start. Let's go for a number 2. All right. This hand. I am gonna keep this hand, but it does need some help. We have the win, but we also like it's the same deck basically that we're up against. We really need like green mana and not to die to something huge and scary. Like short of a land here, I would love to draw Force of Will, but I draw another food chain. Okay. Well, we have a redraw here. Opponent makes a construct. Congratulations. All right. Eternal Scourge to Misthollow Griffins. Can we get a land or a Force of Will? We get a land. I should have been more specific. Looks like they are floating mana rather than making a friend. We get a Mox Opal. What are we doing here? Planar Nexus. The One Ring. Yeah. That seems good. Draw 2 cards, I guess, or 3. I guess 3 cards with the key. We take 5. Okay, that was good. I think I just play the food chain, and then we pass the turn. I really wish we had Force of Will, and then probably we lose to just an onslaught of cards, but we'll see. Right now they only have this 1 token, so they would need 10 more artifacts to make this a lethal attack, which is obviously not out of the question, but doesn't seem that likely. But yeah, let's see. Grim Monolith. All right, I'm just gonna F6 for, life value. It gives away that I don't have Force of Will, but that was probably safe to assume. Okay, they have Ugin, I have Storms. I'm gonna concede. Congratulations to the opponent, and on to the sideboard. I think Deafening Silence. Well, I mean, we basically board like we did last game. I was pretty happy with that. That means we keep in a couple of plows. I didn't see any of the any glaring Fleshraker, but does that deck just not play that as a win condition anymore? That would kind of surprise me. Endurance goes out. 1 Null Drifter goes out. No, that's not how I boarded, right? I boarded out. I shaved a Griffin and a Misthollow and a Fate. Maybe that's not correct though, because I think the combo is how we win. But then like also like how we can win is by having like resolving a deafening silence and controlling the board. I think we keep this turn 2 food chain with Force of Will backup, but we do need something to pay it off. I don't think there's a reason to play the forest actually. I think that was just incorrect. Manifold Key, yeah. Yeah, let's cast Food Chain. Food Chainerino. I think Urza's Workshop is a pretty weak land to open on. If this is Grim Monolith, and it is, I'm going to Force of Will it. Because they aren't like doing a lot with their mana. Losing the Uro kind of sucks, but I think this is maybe okay. But we do need help from the top of our deck. That's not it, but it's okay. I'm going to play out both Hierarchs here and attack for 3. And then have a Surveil land next turn. Let's see. If they just go, like, I don't know, Ancient Tomb here, then forcing that Grim Monolith was a little bit of a waste. They had another one. I mean, sometimes they have, like, 2 of these, and then the play just ends up looking kind of terrible, but then other times... Oh, now there's a Fleshraker, okay. And another key. Oh, God, I hate this deck. So much mana. So what am I hoping for here? Probably Fierce Empath. Mystic Forge, okay. Might just be able to burn us out here. Hopefully not. Exile to Dismember. Lotus Petal, that's good. Man, this Fleshraker is so sick. Please stop doing things and pass me the turn. Nope, more keys. Alright, I am actually just going to fetch right now, next time I get priority, and get my Surveil land, and then F6, and go do something else with my life while my opponent may or may not end up killing me. Meticulous Archive. Plow. Is it maybe just too late for that? Yeah, I think it is. Alright, F6. Alright, we got the turn. Jewel land, of course. Is there any way I don't just lose next turn? They have all this mana. And they untap Mystic Forge. They get to tutor another key. So right now they have 2 keys, 3 keys. They can become 4 keys. I'm gonna pass and, you know, let them finish it. There is a chance. And I'm just gonna do the same thing actually. Fetch the second Surveil land. And me winning this game would include something like finding Null Drifter here. And Null Drifting into like Fierce Empath or something, but I'm just gonna F6. Okay, they fireball me. I'm dead. So, off to round number 3. Alright, on the play for round number 3. No lands. Got a mulligan. 1 land, gonna keep. And I think we get rid of the Manipulate Fate. Because we already have a Griffin. We have the food chain. Alright, so going to get... gonna go ahead and get a Trop. They don't know we only have 1 land. And playing like Wasteland on the draw versus a Noble Hierarch start is probably not the best. Tamiyo, okay. We have Plow for Tamiyo. Like to draw land here. We don't. We draw another Noble. Okay, well, let's Plow the Tamiyo and play second Noble and pass. Giving up the Ghost that we are stumbling on lands here. Bowmaster's gonna force. Not sure if they have the days. They didn't seem to have it before. Okay, another food chain. Well, okay, that's just in. Sweet. Ponder. Yeah, something occurred to me is like, I think Ponder now is almost exclusively good as a turn 3 and beyond play. At least when you're playing combo decks. Brainstorm. All right. Yeah, like I feel like playing turn 1 Ponder is almost always, if your opponent does that, then it's almost always better than anything else they could do on turn 1. Okay, Thoughtseize. They take my second food chain. We draw land. Okay. Do we think they have found a Daze? Because you can't use food chain mana to pay for Daze. So what we could do is sack, like, throw one of these Noble Hierarchs onto the altar. Now, if they have a, what do you call it? If they have a Force of Will here, then that's kind of a blowout. Blowout. Then it's a 2 for 2. Okay, that's in. I'm gonna attack here, and then see where we go from next turn. Do not shuffle. It's the second no shuffle. Wonder what that means. Is this petty theft? What's this? They're doing something on my upkeep. Petty theft, the food chain. Okay. Oh. Well, I am going to attack here. Get my beats for 4. I have to imagine that they have Daze now. But I still think making the food chain play is correct. Go for the throat. Okay. That works. And push. Wow. Okay. Now 0 cards. Land. Ponder. Okay. Guess I'll take it. Oh, get out of here. No lands. Is 19 lands really that few? Like, 19 lands for Noble Hierarch? I feel like I'm getting screwed on lands more often than not here. What's this? Oh, just main phasing the Brazen Borrower. Fair enough. And a Spell Bomb. Hey, please use that. Put my Griffin into exile. Okay. I think I just evoke the Null Drifter here. Let's get another tropical island. I mean, that's pretty good. If they don't, like, if they don't do stuff for the next couple of turns, that's probably a lot to ask. Okay, they do nuke my graveyard, putting my Misthollow Griffin into exile. And Thoughtseize, that's going to take the food chain. Unless they play Reanimate, of course, and then they take the Griselbrand. So now lands are still, like, the best thing I can draw. Eternal Scourge or Fierce Empath here. I think Scourge. Another Spell Bomb, so that's basically just a cycler. They probably are able to pull ahead of here. Unless I draw exactly like Food Chain. Wasteland, yeah, that's pretty good. And what? Yep. Put it into exile, but I have... yeah, just getting killed by Wastelands here and like Mana Screw in general. Oh, wow. We got lucky. And they draw land. Okay. So I go to 8. They go to 6. I go to 5. They go to 3. I go to 2. They die. Is the current race situation. Meticulous Archive. Not going to complain. And I think I Fierce Empath. That's just like more power on the board. And I'm going to get the second Null Drifter, I think. Then I'm going to Meticulous Archive. Uro. Uro needs another green source here. Uro also changes the race, probably? No, I'm going to get rid of Uro. Like, if they top the Bowmasters. Yeah, I don't know. And they pass. Draw another Griffin. Okay, I'm going to attack with both guys here. So if they have another... if they have another Brazen Borrower, then it's game over. I think no matter what. Because they can just bounce and play it here. They have the exact mana for that. Oh, looks like it's Hardcast Force of Will. Okay. So 1 draw step to rule them all. If they can kill my, or get rid of my Eternal Scourge, then they win. Well, they might win. Okay, they didn't. Alright, sweet. We take game 1. This looks like it is Dimir Tempo rather than Reanimator. Veil of Summer seems fine. Endurance seems pretty good. Carpet of Flowers seems pretty great. Flusterstorm, maybe. Let's shave a Fate, shave a Griffin, and maybe get rid of a Null Drifter. Maybe it's both Null Drifters actually. And what's the last cut? Do we get rid of Force of Will? Bring in the Flusterstorm? Yeah, let's try this. Yeah, I guess we keep this. They can Thoughtseize me. They probably take Force of Will. Or the Griffin. I think it's okay to take it slow here in Hedge Maze. Maybe we put Veil of Summer on top. I don't really think I can afford to. Wow. Okay. Yeah. No, I don't think I can. I didn't feel like I could afford to Force of Will into a potential daze there. I was thinking about forcing the Tameo, but then they just go straight for the Brainstorm, trying to win with Tameo. And I mean, I don't have any removal for her as a Planeswalker, so that's pretty good. They might just be able to ride this Tameo to victory. All right, let's ponder. Don't want these. Another Uro. Okay. Nethergoyf. Yeah, that's fine. Another Brainstorm. Okay. Yeah, they're just gonna win with this Tameo. I don't see a way I can beat that. It would have to involve something like finding Food Chain right now, and then being able to like 3 mana play Food Chain. They tick up Tameo, and then okay, wow, they're doing so many things. Yeah, like if I find Food Chain now, they take it up to 8. Then I untap with Food Chain up, and I have a Griffin. I'm going to be exiling the Griffin with the, or I will be able to exile the Griffin with Uro at some point. But I don't think I have enough mana to do everything. Oh, there's the Food Chain though. Sick. I mean, obviously, we need to cast this, right? What happens if I cast Uro instead? No, we have to cast this. I also don't have, yeah, no, I don't have another land to put in off of Uro anyways. The daze, okay, well, I force the daze. Is your last 2 cards force and blue card? No. Okay, well, still many things that can go wrong here. But now I wonder if they slow down and buy back Thoughtseize here, which would certainly also be a spanner in the works. But if they have like Brazen Borrower, then that's also just good enough. They buy back the Thoughtseize. Okay. So what do you take here if you're them? Do you take the Griselbrand? If you take Uro, then I don't have a way to like execute the win right now. They take the Griselbrand. Okay. And they already made their land drop. They don't shuffle though. Okay. Well, now the pressure's off with regards to Tameo. Brainstorm. What does that mean for us? I think it means we cast the Brainstorm. Okay. So what if we put back Veil of Summer and a Noble Hierarch? And then we play... They daze that. Okay. And we pass. And we were back to plussing Tameo. Okay. Alright. We don't need to play around daze then, because we drew the land. I was going to suggest playing around daze using the Hierarch here, but let's say green. Fortunately, I only have 2 green. Alright, so we're casting Uro, we're escaping him, we're going to exile the Misthollow Griffin. That's for sure. Do I exile the Griselbrand? I can't get him back anyways. I guess I could with an endurance. Okay, they have Bowmasters. That's annoying, but instantly killing us. Draw land. That's not so amazing. I think we just play the Hierarch here and pass. 4 mana. Kaito, Bane of Nightmares. Alright. So that means the Uro is put to sleep. And I take 6. I am just gonna take it here. One draw step to rule them all. It's a brainstorm, huh? Okay. Well, brainstorm is gonna put me to 1 life, but we do need to cast it. And we find another brainstorm, so who cares? Okay. Pretty sure I don't really change anything for the sideboard, for the 3rd game. Yeah, let's try this. Ponder off of basic island. Yeah, that was pretty good. Let's. I think we want all these cards. So let's draw the tropical island and then noble hierarch. Thoughtseize, you got it. Brainstorm is gone. Play the noble hierarch and pass. Now it's their turn to ponder. I'm not even sure how good endurance really is. It seems like a lot of these decks are not playing Murktides, or at least not in high numbers. And if they're not on Reanimator, then yeah, I don't know. Maybe endurance is just not that hot. It can like ambush someone, which is not bad, but okay. They get rid of their go for the throat. Alright, I'm gonna actually just put Uro into the graveyard here. And we draw food chain. Okay. That's not too bad. Let's pass. Bowmasters. Sure. That was good from the opponent. I'm not gonna fetch and plow end of turn because I don't want to lose to a wasteland. I guess I will plow now, though I'm not sure if I really need to. Maybe like getting basic lands is more important right now. Because like I think if I fetch Savannah there, plow the Bowmasters, and then they have a second wasteland, I think I just lose the game on the spot. The game might be lost anyways, who knows, but yeah. I mean, we're not looking great here. Oh, and I was talking about Murktide, and here comes the Murktide. That's disappointing. 7/7 Murktide. I do get lucky and draw a land here. If I fetch basic planes, then I am further away from escaping Uro, but yeah, I still think I do that and have my basics sort of underneath me. Okay, they force of will. So now they have 9 power. I go to 9, and then I die. And they even have the Kaito. Let's see here. Is there anything I can do here? What happens if I... So if I cast Food Chain, and let's just for argument's sake say it resolves, then I evoke Endurance pitching the Noble Hierarch, and then sack Endurance to the Food Chain. By the way, sorry if you can hear some noise in the background. Some construction work just started outside. But yeah, so I have 4 green. I can then play the Fierce Empath, 1 green, floating. And then the Fierce Empath gets Aethersnipe, and then the chain kind of stops there. I don't think I have any out here, and they probably have an answer for this, but let's see. They're fetching here. They're brainstorming, okay. Alright, GG's. Okay, we're on the draw for round number 4, and this is a mulligan, because no lands. Oof, no lands again. I don't know, I guess I'll keep this, but yikes. Get rid of Aethersnipe and one of the plows, and really hope to draw some mana now. Ideally green mana. Opponent just passed through their first turn. How interesting. Okay, we didn't draw the green mana. Instead we drew a second Plowshares. What does this mean? Is our opponent like on a slow reanimator plan, or like oops all spells that just needed more resources? Dark Ritual, okay. Another Dark Ritual, okay. I don't have high hopes that this Force of Will is gonna stop whatever they're doing, but Balustrade Spy. I'm going to Force of Will. You're either gonna Pact of Negation or reanimate it, I guess. More mana, really? They had all 4 Dark Rituals. Sick. Dread Return on the Balustrade Spy. Okay. That's not every day you see Oops All Spells hard casting Dread Return for actual mana. Just gonna have a look at their graveyard and then no Pacts of Negation. So they're playing like Black Disruption instead. Okay, cool. All right, let's get some anti-combo cards in here. Not sure how strong Meddling Mage is here. Is everything coming? No. Carpet Flowers stay out, but everything else, sick. I'll board out 1 or 2 plows, but if they're on like Barrogoyfs or Rotting Regisaurus or whatever, then you don't want to go too low on that. I'm gonna really shave on the combo elements. I also don't want to be too low on blue cards. But let's see here: 16, 18 with a 2 euro, 19, 20, 21, 22. So I think going at least down 1 euro is fine. Maybe I'll go down to 1 or 2 plowshares. And then, like, I'll cut a food chain. I'll cut a Fierce Empath. I don't know. Like, I'll cut another Manipulate Fate. No. I guess I cut Uro before I cut Manipulate Fate. And I'll cut a plow. I'm down to 1 plow. If they pivot, it's going to be really good for them. But hopefully the pivot is mostly like Charbelcher and not creatures. Can I keep this hand with no blue mana? I don't think so. Okay, I'll keep this. But I'm not happy about it. Alright. Pass the turn. Prepare to lose. I will Flusterstorm Dark Ritual for sure. I'll Flusterstorm like and Unmask here. Thoughtseize, yeah. Let's fluster that. At least give them something to think about. How about a card I can play? Dothy Voidwalker. Okay. So they are in a creature plan. I'm going to fetch and get a Hedge Maze. I'll take a Brainstorm. Easily take my food chain here. That's pretty much the only thing that makes sense. Let's get rid of basic planes and Force of Vigor. And I guess now I have to hope to chain in some creatures. And Manipulate Fate is a start. They have zapped themselves twice here. They're at 4. But obviously they're also just constantly threatening their combo. Unstoppable Slasher, yeah. That's the thing that ends the game pretty quickly. Okay, let's cast Manipulate Fate. We get rid of the 3 exile dudes. We find another Brainstorm. Okay, so I think we play out Lavinia here. Pass. And so what steals... How does this work when multiple things connect? Like, what life total does this see? It must see 15, right? So I'm going to lose down to 7, and then 3 more down to 4. If I let this connect. I could also just chump block here. Ease off the pressure a bit. I think I will do that. It makes drawing a food chain worse, because like otherwise I would be able to combo off. Not combo off, but like get my army into play. There are only 2 food chains left. God. Another slasher? Okay. Pretty sure I can't beat that. Fun times. So now I'm just dead, right? Because if I play a creature and block, it comes back, but then it's done. But that's not the important thing. The important thing is this one sees my life total being at 12. It takes me to 6. This one takes me down to 3, and then I can't, no matter what, can't do anything about that one. All right, GG's. Off to the final round. All right, on the draw for the final round, I'm gonna keep this hand and be a little bit suspicious of it. Grim Monolith. Okay. It's a lot of that deck going around right now. But no other play? Okay. These 2 survey lands really biting me here. Alright, let's play Noble Hierarch and pass turn. There is Karn. Do they just go for the liquid mill coating? Yeah, looks like it. They coat my land. I'm going to... Okay, that was almost good, but ultimately not good at all. Let's put back to... No, I guess meticulous. I get to put one of these things away. I guess I'll put away the basic island. Okay, I am gonna play another noble hierarch here. Okay, so they could get, I think, okay, they just choose to nuke my land. Okay, fair enough. I was gonna say they could get the lattice here, but yeah. Okay, I think I might just win right now. I'm not sure. Let's see. So let's cast Food Chain. Right, and let's make some green mana off of these noble hierarchs, making noble sacrifices. We can play one, just this lotus petal here. Green. Cast a Fierce Empath. So let's get Aethersnipe. Then let's make green with this. Cast the second Empath. Guess we didn't need to get the Aethersnipe. And let's get this here. I think I need to get Griselbrand, right? But so I have 7 green, or seven mana. 7 becomes 4, which then becomes 11. 11 becomes 8, which then becomes 15. Okay, so I can't actually just get the Emrakul. Okay, let's make some mana here. Let's evoke the friend, and we can bounce the, I guess, the glaring Fleshraker. And then we sack this for blue. That gets bounced. We evoke the Null Drifter. That draws 2. Oh, Griffins. And then we sack this with its evoke trigger on the stack. And then we get Emrakul. Yay! Sweet. Alright. I think we know the boarding plan, don't we? And then I think we got rid of 2 of the plows, the endurance, and we shaved a fate and a griffin. And what was the final shave? Oh yeah, no, I'm just not supposed to bring in the endurance. That's it. I think I have to mulligan this. And I'll keep this. Okay, and we'll bottom one of the food chains. I think I have high hopes for this Deafening Silence, but we will see. It's a pretty sweet disrupting card because it doesn't care. Oh, please. Okay, good. I was going to say, please don't have a Chalice of the Void. 2 keys. That's pretty good. Yeah, but the Deafening Silence combos pretty well because our combo is all creatures, basically, aside from the food chain. Basalt Monolith, sure. No. Do you have a Glaring Fleshraker? You've already made your non-creature spell. Okay, they do. Sweet. Did they have another one? Oh my. Yeah, okay. That is pretty good. That is going to... Well, I mean, they're still bottlenecked at 1 spell per turn, but like that was pretty awesome for them. Okay, well, I mean, I just need this Brainstorm to deliver a 3rd land, and then I'm happy. And it does. Let's get rid of, I guess, Force of Will and Force of Negation. And then we pass. Well, that's not actually true. I also need 1 more land, right? Or another creature. Hedge Maze. Ponder can go away. I am worried about Kozilek's Command being in their hand. Like if I play Food Chain now and then they EOT, like I think they might just be able to burn me out. But we'll see. Okay, that wasn't Kozilek's Command. So, are they able to do anything here? Attack for 4. I'm down to 9. I'll be at 8 once I fetch. Blue card would have been good. Okay. So I guess I could try and like pad myself here a bit and play out the Fierce Empath first and get Null Drifter. What's their life total at? I think I just get... No, I have enough in the air to kill them with a Null Drifter. So let's start making Griffins here, or Griffin Singleton. And I will cast the Null Drifter before Emrakul in case I hit a blue card, which, I mean, if that was my goal, I suppose I should have just Fierce Empath for Aethersnipe. Another reason to play Emrakul as the win con over the more modern versions with Walking Ballista or Hydroid Crisis or whatever it's called is that it is like significantly fewer clicks. Like Emrakul requires 15 mana. Walking Ballista at a baseline will require 40 mana to become a 20/20, and you basically are not allowed to make it a 20/20, right? Like if your opponent has a plow and they can plow one of their own creatures, then it's just super awkward and embarrassing. Okay, that didn't really draw shit. Alright, now we click on the mouse 15 times. I guess we can do it 14 times because we have an untapped Tundra and we're not using that mana for anything. Alright, sweet. They conceded. Alright, a 2-3 record. Not a very varied league. I think I played the same deck 3 times, right? The Mystic Forge deck. I had fun. I think this deck is pretty sweet. I think I have a soft spot for Food Chain, obviously. I don't know. I feel like whenever I'm playing like 3-colored fair decks, I feel like Wasteland is much more problematic than I initially give it credit for or think that it will be. And I think like like games lost here also often involve me just not finding the third or the fourth land or getting wasted off of a color or whatever. I think the list can be tuned. I really enjoyed the Null Drifters. I have to say, I think that's a good addition. Ideally, they would also pitch to Force, but we can't have everything. But like being able to just massively like Dark Ritual out or like Mana Ritual out with a Food Chain is pretty big. Like if you have a Food Chain and you have a Null Drifter and a Fierce Empath in hand, then that's pretty good. Like you can like do some pretty sweet things. As we saw, there were like several times where I didn't even need the Misthollow Griffins to make infinite mana in order to actually resolve Emrakul because I had Fierce Empath and Null Drifter, and like Empath getting an the Emrakul, or like if I had 2 Empaths or something, or Empath getting Aethersnipe and all that stuff. I think it kind of did more work than I thought it would do. It could still be correct to just not play it, right? I think Uro did really like not a lot here. I would probably want to see about replacing Uro with something else. Also, the Griselbrand felt a little bit like sad when my opponent was playing Orcish Bowmasters, and it's also just not a nice card to draw. Although, like having Griselbrand and then like having like just drawing an Null Drifter if you have Food Chain is you're almost there, right? Yeah. So, anyways, fans of Food Chain and non-fans of Food Chain, let me know what you thought. I hope you had a good time watching this video. I am trying something, which is this channel now has a Patreon. If you feel like supporting the channel, or if you want to get access to my Doomsday Sideboard Guide, please consider becoming a patron. There's a link in the video description. All right, take it easy, stay safe. I'll be back with some more Legacy.